It's early in the morning, and I'm just sitting here having some meditation. Decided I'm going to share it this time because I feel like a lot of people can relate to what I'm thinking. Because after all, I'm just a human being like everybody else, and we all think and feel the same things. We just go about it in different ways, right? We have different reasons for why we feel the way we feel and why we think the way we think. But at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all human beings. We're all going through something. We all have, well, maybe some of us aren't going through anything at the moment, but we have all been through things. We have all been hurt. We've all been traumatized. We've all been let down. We've all been abandoned in some way. And it's so important to realize that you have to be able to forgive yourself and others in life. There's no question about it. There's no if, ands, or but. It's not an option. It's something that you must do. It's something that you must do. If you want to grow and if you want to experience a full life, you have to learn when to forgive. You have to learn when to let go. You have to learn when to move forward even though it's not easy, because a lot of times we stagnate ourselves without realizing it. We get hurt by a situation or by a person, and we think that if we can hold a grudge against them and if we can hold anger towards them, that it will force them to change their behaviors. But that's not true, because 99.99999 100% of the time, actually, the person that has hurt you has also been hurt. And so usually when they hurt you, it's an act of selfishness per se. It's not usually about you. That person has also been traumatized too. And so you can't get through to them. And especially not in a negative way, because you're dealing with somebody who's matching your negative frequency. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be able to elevate yourself out of that situation. And in order for you to elevate out of it, you have to master the art of forgiveness, of self forgiveness for being angry and for being bitter and resentful and hateful. And then after you do that, you should be more able to forgive the other person, not because you like them, not even because you love them, but just because you know that they're just a person just like you, and they don't have that much power over you. They're not supposed to. So you are going to take that power back from them, and you're going to move on with your life, whether they like it or not, and whether you like it or not. You have to do it. Otherwise, you will always be stagnant. There's always going to be some situation or some person who's going to drive you into a negative state, because we as people have a dualistic nature. We can be good, but we can be bad. You get what I'm saying? And it's natural in life. It's part of the process. Part of the process is going through pain. Part of the process is going through disappointment, hurt, anger, hate, resentment. That's part of the process, because in the end, it's supposed to inspire you to greater heights. Your pain is supposed to be used to drive you to greater heights. It's not something for you to sit in and use as an excuse to be a low life or a low grade person. Your pain, and it may take time. It's supposed to take time. I'm not saying you should rush anything. I'm not saying you should look for a quick fix. I'm not saying you should expect things to instantly change, or that you have to instantly change the way that you feel. But at some point, you should want to not feel how you feel anymore. You should want to feel better. And if you genuinely are focused on your happiness, and your ultimate purpose in your life is your happiness and your health and your well-being, you will do whatever it takes to achieve that, even if that includes forgiving people who maybe you don't feel should be forgiven. After a certain point, it's not about them, it's about you. It's about the fact that one day you're going to die, you're not going to be here. Are you going to continue to live your life in a way where you are allowing somebody else's misbehavior to have so much control over you emotionally that you sacrifice your life for them, and they're not even worth it? Are you going to do that? Are you really going to do that? And it makes me think, if there is a God, and I'm saying it, I know there's a God. I believe in God 1,000,000,000%. Okay? That's not a number, but still, I believe in God to my core, but there are people who don't. But let's say hypothetically, if there is a God and God expects us to forgive, But God also loves us, and has set the mandate of forgiveness in all religion for a reason, right? And you decide to shirk that opportunity because you want to continue to wallow in hatred for somebody else. Do you think that's honorable? Knowing that he gave you life and that your life does have a time expiration on it, are you really going to waste it? Is that noble? It's not. It's really not, especially considering that you're not perfect. You have hurt somebody before. You have disappointed somebody before. You have done something you weren't supposed to do before, but you've been forgiven. You understand? And it's not because you're such a great person. It's because life goes on and we have to do what we have to do. When you understand that being a good person is not a bad thing, I don't know why being a good person is seen as weak. I don't know how we as people have managed to pervert that. But once you realize that having empathy for other people, even people who you despise, once you have empathy for them and your primary focus is on understanding them as a human, not liking them, you don't have to like them. You don't have to be friends with people. You don't even have to love them. But to be able to, on a basic human level, be emotionally and spiritually intelligent enough to have empathy for another human being so that you can understand them better, which allows you to deal with them better, it will propel you to such far heights because a lot of people don't tap into that level of understanding and maturity. And these are our God-given capabilities. And that's why there's a moral code that we have to follow. Regardless of what everybody else is doing, we have to choose as individuals to take responsibility for ourselves and follow a moral code so that we are able to reap the benefits of our life because there are opportunities there. But if you do not have the character and the decency, you will never be able to see certain levels of happiness and joy and peace in your life. You cannot be a bad person because the next person is a bad person. I know it's hard to avoid that. I know we are emotional beings, we're animals. God did put us in the bodies of animals. We are mammals, we are animals too. But we are spiritual beings first. And we have to remember that, and we have to act on accord with that. We have to realize that we have a lot more power than we think. And nobody can usurp your power from you because you come directly from the source. And like how your mother can birth you, your father, you may have developed because of his sperm, but guess what? Them birthing you was a one-time thing. Once your mom pushed you out, she may be your mother forever, but she was only a birther for those few moments. You get what I'm saying? But when you have a relationship, a direct relationship with your source, that is a constant connection. That is a constant link that cannot be broken. It is not a one-time thing like your birth is. It's forever. And a lot of people shirk that, don't care about it, don't respect it, don't acknowledge it, forget about it, get distracted by all the temptations out here, forgetting that they have all the power that they need within themselves because within themselves is God. It's not a man in the sky. It's you. You have the power to create and destroy. But when you destroy, you reap what you sow. But when you create and you create good things, you reap what you sow. The key to winning is to be focused on you, not what everybody else does, whether for good or for bad, but what you are doing. Not to be focused on what the people who hurt you in the past have done, but to focus on how you are going to be better than them and extract the lesson from them on how not to be. Because the example's right there. Those people who screwed you over, at least at the time when they did it, they were miserable people. It takes misery to cause a person to do miserable actions to another person. You understand? So it's not like they won. They can't win if they have no peace in their spirit. And that's why forgiveness is important, because it gives you peace in your spirit.